Education is preparation for reparations.
Are we going to now hear from Kader Abdoul Mossi?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, from Niger and Mali, like Dr. Sigi said, we are all the same people. You know, we don't believe to lose colonial borders. You know, we are all the same. So, like he has explained everything, and everything has been said by the predecessor. So, if I can talk about the reparation, like I just want to say that in Niger, like the predecessor said that reparation is not about. It's not a financial purpose, you know. It's just a repair for the mindset. If you mess with something, you need to fix it. You see, it's just simple, you know. Because like there is a psychological damage on us. Everywhere in Niger, in our countries, when we walk around, we see what has been done by the colonial power. And we can see the grave and the memorial of those criminals. But our hero who fought them, we cannot see their memorial, we don't even know their grave. And what is sad is this history, this is our own history, we don't know our history ourselves. You understand? So when we were kids, we were taught this history when we were in primary school. By the time we grew up, we forgot. So myself and most of my friends, when I was talking to them, is this movie, African Apocalypse, that sent us back to the future, to the past. So when Rob Lemkin has contacted me regarding this movie, I was like, how? I learned this history when I was kids. But I was kids, I was learning this history in a language that I don't understand, which was French. You know, as a kid, I was just learning 7 years, 8 years. I don't understand what I was, you know, I only understood that some white people came to our country, they kill our ancestors, they do a lot of bad things. So it's when I watch this movie that I have to go on the internet and start making research about, you know, about this colonial past. And right now, our country, recently, like last week, there was the UN, United Nations Assembly General. So our president, the new president, he sent his foreign affairs minister, but he was not allowed to talk. Why? Because he said that he's got strong evidence, clear evidence that France is the one supporting terrorists in our country. Then Emmanuel Macron said, no, we don't recognize you guys because this is the military government. But it's very important to remind that this is not our first coup. The last one before this one, this current one, was in 2010. And that time the president, because he was pro-France, he was selling the country to France, they allowed him to go to the UN meeting. That's him. And he met, yes, and he met the former General Secretary of UN. So we don't understand now that, you know, the France and the UN said that we cannot send our foreign affairs minister. And this gentleman, he was the previous president, he was the president of the military regime in 2010. So he was welcomed as a hero in France. So there are two kinds of coup d'etat in Africa. Revolutionary coup d'etat and reactionary coup d'etat. So when you are like responsible of revolutionary coup d'etat, the CU has, they will call you by all names. So in Africa, if you want to see a good leader, the good leader is the one that the West is talking bad about him.
Yes.
But the bad one is the one that they are just praising them, you know? So yeah, and Emmanuel Macron said our president, our current one, he does not recognize it because he's a military. But this is him right now. This is the president, current president of Chad. This gentleman is the current president of Chad. This is Emmanuel Macron sitting next to him. And he invited him in France and introduced him to his wife, you know. So the reason I'm showing this is because we don't understand the double standard.
Yeah.
So when you support their interests, you are their best friend. But when you support the interests of the people, you know, you become the enemy number one. So right now the situation, nobody talk about this gentleman. Sorry, he's the president of Chad. And right now, this is the president of Niger. They are all military. So in Chad, they allow the foreign minister to intervene at the UN But in Niger, no, because we say we have clear evidence that France is the one supporting the terrorists, you know. And the one in charge, even worse, his dad was president, he was ruling the country more than 30 years. He was just in the army. So when his dad passed away, died, he was killed by revolutionary movement, there is a constitution in place. The leader of the, how you call it, President Assembly, the leader of Parliament, according to the constitution, is supposed to be the president. By the bridge, they stopped that constitution. His son, he's like nepotism, his son becomes president. So nobody's talking about it. You understand? So that's why we don't like this double standard treatment.
Yes.
And right now, this is him with Emmanuel Macron. They become like the best friend. You see that? And this is Kader, Foreign Affairs Minister, when he was at the UN meeting. In our country, they say, no, you cannot come because we don't recognize military regime. And what is worse, again, when the military, they did the coup, they invite the French ambassador in my country to come for a meeting. And they say, no, I will not recognize you because, you know, you are not elected. But in Gabon, because of the imperialists, the same French ambassador, there is an ambassador in France, he went to meet the military guy in Gabon. But in our country, they say no, so that's why we don't understand the double standard. And talking about coup d'etat, a lot of people believe that the first coup d'etat in my country was in 1974. That's very wrong, absolutely wrong. The first coup d'etat happened in 1958. I don't know if anyone knows this gentleman, our hero, our leader. Does anyone know this gentleman? No, it's not Bakari. He's the... Yeah. He's the best friend of Kwame Nkrumah. They have the same vision, but nobody is talking about him. Even us, as Nigerians, we don't know his history because his history is being hidden.
Is he the one that said, if they start praising me, then I'll be a traitor? Is he the one that made that statement?
Say what?
He said that, I think this is the one who said that if the enemy, if you hear foreigners saying that I'm a good president, then I betrayed you.
That's right. Yes, they have the same vision. I mean, for Sekou Touré, their best friend during that time, Sekou Touré of Guinea and Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana and Jibo Bakari, you know, they have the same vision for Africa, Pan-Africanism. So Jibo Bakari, he was born in 1922 and he passed away in 1988. He was a socialist politician and an important figure in the independence movement of Niger, Sawaba. Sawaba, which means in our language, wisdom. So we need wisdom, we need education, yeah, Sawaba. He formed Sawaba, a movement formed in 1954, which was opposed to the French colonial rules and pushed for independence. He developed into a militant social movement aligned with Eastern Bloc states as well as Algeria and Ghana. He was elected as a mayor of Niamey in October 1956. 1 year later, he became head of the first government in Niger. So during that time, the French socialists see him as their friend and they see him as their puppets. So during that time in France, General de Gaulle, there was an election, a referendum, which gave to all African, sub-African country the choice to be linked to France or to have their own independence. So Jibo Bakari was the first African leader who said, no, we prefer our independence, total independence. And that was the first coup d'etat in Niger. Because during that referendum, this was, you know, we say in my country, there is two kinds of coup d'etat. There is military coup d'etat and there is a constitutional one. So that was the first constitutional one done by the French authority because they rigged the election. Comment on dit bourrage des élections? Bourrage des élections?
Basically filling up, you know, the
ballot box. You know, when you do elections, so it's stuff it. You know, they
in a fraudulent way.
Yeah. So they did all this. Everybody knows that Jibo Bakari was the winner of the election, but France during that time, they manipulate people, they intimidate them, they have military forces in Algeria during that time. So they come to make a show of force to intimidate people to not go to vote. And in all districts where Sawaba have a lot of militants, they were there, they send soldier or calling people to intimidate them that if you go to vote, this will kill you, will kidnap you. They see them as a terrorist, but they just want independence for their country, so they have to run away. So anyway, Prince did this first constitutional coup d'etat, and his best friend, who was the president of Guinea, when they were telling him that, you need to vote yes to be part of the French territory, otherwise you're going to suffer. And he's saying, we prefer freedom in poverty to wealth in slavery. So that was a very, very strong statement backed by Kwame Nkrumah and Djibouti and Sékou Touré. So Djibouti, his struggle came to an end when Kwame Nkrumah was ousted. Because that, like my predecessor said, that Ghana was the home of all the liberation movement. So he was getting support from Ghana, but when Kwame Nkrumah was ousted, so his struggle came to an end. So I'm just sharing this information because tomorrow, 28th of September, is going to be 65 years. That's the anniversary when Djibouti wanted the Nigerian people to vote no for a referendum to be part of the French territories. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Education is preparation for reparations.